Hey guys, this is the 1.5 meter Maule M7. This is a scale airplane. Supposedly this thing is an awesome civil aircraft, and I'm pretty excited to fly it. I've got the timber, which I really like the timber, and this is made by Eflite. I really love Horizon's products. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and film the. I mean, you've seen the unboxings. What I'm going to do is basically try to put this together quickly. All right, so here we are. We're gonna take this apart. Look at that, these servos on here to steer. That's not like the timber actually has a cable, so that's pretty darn cool. Landing gear, obviously. Propeller. Must be the cone for the top. A wing. Another wing. Main attraction is the fuselage. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful, man. Pure plastic, and look at the detail of the cab of the pilot and the cockpit. That's pretty cool. One of the main reasons I wanted this plane, I know I've got a timber and I've got a short takeoff and landing plane already, but I don't have a scale plane. It's just cool. Yet I'm building a Mustang with a 5-foot wingspan by Top Flight, vertical stabilizer. There's the screws and a cable of some sort. This is the horizontal stabilizer and elevators. And let's see, flip this baby over. And the other landing gear must have been for the floats, and this is the actual landing gear. So, okay. So next up is lay this out on the table. Okay, hey, I wanted to give my local, well, not my local, it used to be my local hobby shop. It's Dynamic Hobbies in Hemet, California, and I moved to Flagstaff about 6 months ago, so I made a trip back home for some training and saw was able to visit my mom and my kids, and I was able to take a Tundra there and my Sportsman Plus trainer and put him in for sale there. He takes basically aircraft. You can hang your aircraft up in his ceiling there, and he can, whatever you get for your airplane, goes to store credit. So that's how I was able to buy this beautiful thing. Anyways, please support your local hobby shops. Basically, it's the same price as Amazon. You might be able to save a little bit of money on Amazon, but hey, you know, the local hobby shops, let's try to support them. And so let's do the landing gear. Here we are with the landing gear. I found out that that basically this is a 2mm hex wrench or Allen wrench for these screws here. Majority of the screws used on the plane is that. And the longer, I don't know what you call these, like a washer that goes over. It's the longer ones that go here. The shorter ones go here. This slot here is for your float, and this is for the back float. But this longer crease here is for your landing gear. And basically, and the manual shows you that the landing gear with this bevel goes up front, slides right in there like that, and then you take this longer band or washer band, whatever you want to call it. They can only go in one way. Obviously that goes in there like that, and the other one goes on the other side. Basically, it's got a raised surface on one side, and you put that into where the front floats would go, like so, and take your 2mm hex wrench and put that puppy in there. Alright. And the cool thing about this is all of the receiving end of this, it's machined. So that's awesome. It's totally machined. Some brass like bushings down there that are. That's going beautifully. Make sure after you fly that you go back and check and make sure everything's snug. I was watching a flight test video and they had on, oh gosh, I forget what plane they were flying, and the wheel fell off. And sure enough, this whole section, when they tried to land it, ripped out. It's crazy. It was their FMS Beaver is what it was. It was the Beaver aircraft, their video. And just because the wheel fell off when they went to land, the grass was so high, it ripped out this whole chunk of foam. So that's it. That's the main landing gear. Okay, I had to switch to my iPhone. So now what we're going to do is put the horizontal stabilizer together. And this is the top. This is the bottom. See this right here that's kind of raised right here. That raised part goes in here. There's a screw that goes through right here into here. And these are like, I guess, like strengthening bracing for underneath. It probably connects underneath when you flip it over. I just put tape on them right here just to hold them in place so they're not dangling around. And basically you put this piece on first, like so, and then you slide the actual vertical stabilizer down over that, and there's 2 screws, one here and one here, there and there. I think when you slide this down, you gotta make sure you line your tail wheel up because it actually catches right here. That's kind of critical, so don't try to, put this on. It's probably just gonna go down there and slide right in there like that. So it's gonna go in like that and like that. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do. I'm gonna go ahead and put the horizontal stabilizer on first, guys and gals. So that's just gonna simply go like that. And I'm gonna take one of these screws and the number 2. Sorry, I'm left-handed. That's it. And just so you don't have to over crank these, just so it feels like it jumps in there and it's tight. Don't over tighten these things or you're gonna be ruined. And there's that right there. And so then I think what we need to do is, this has got like a notch in it right here in the front, and that's gonna slide right in here. And then I'm gonna line up this back section with here. I think I might moisten this right here so it's gonna groove in there, just a little bit of spit. So it goes in easier. I just kind of put it in my mouth. And then, oh look at, there's the bell arm right there. That was a little difficult. Oh, look at that, slid right in. Easy, easy as my friend Pi would say. Okay, there's that. One there. Wow, super easy. Threaded screws. Receiving end of that is just phenomenal design. These guys did a really good job in designing this everything as far as putting it together. Don't over tighten or you're gonna be bummed. Next thing it tells you to do is to connect the control rod. So I'm gonna read up on that and get right back. Okay, so now we're gonna take this this control rod and hook it to this is the rudder stabilizer, the rudder servo, and this is the bell arm for that. So you wanna do a down, completely down, or up, I guess, because it's flipped over, is neutral. You might want to later, what I want to do is put this in the neutral position. So that's basically when you turn your radio on, that this is for sure going to be in this position straight up. And then you want your rudder to be completely in the neutral position as well. So what you can do is, first of all, you put this rod in here. The picture in the manual shows it on the very furthest ring away from the actual servo and over the top. Just push that on there like that. And what I do here now is hold this in the neutral position, not in the neutral position, and then thread this down to where it's gonna line up perfect. And then once you get your aircraft done, you get ready and have it all bound, you can take this back off and get it completely neutral. I mean, you can use the trim if you want to, but you might as well get it right so you have the the adjusting capability perfectly, so you can go either way with the trim. You don't want to be completely out of whack. So I just basically threaded this down to where it looked right, and I mean, I don't have real good vision because the camera's in the way. I actually need to back that off a little bit. And so this is in the neutral position. Let's see how that looks. Actually, it looks like I need to thread it in maybe a turn, so I'm gonna go a half. I guess it's a half turn. Try it. Okay, that's completely straight up. Actually, it's gonna go another skosh. And that looks pretty good there. I'm gonna go ahead and call that good and then push that down. And then you wanna push this rubber band back over to hold these together so this won't ever come off. These work great. These work really good. These actually came with the model. So some models don't do that. You can actually buy these separately, like little rubber bands that stay on there. And this could potentially go bad too, so you want to keep your eyes on. Okay, so that's it. That's the rudder control. It's hooked up. Let's read on. Okay, the next two things to do is these braces. Just fold them over and look, you just push this down a little bit and let it go in there naturally. The other side, just bend it a little bit. Maybe do that. That's fine. Oh, that's not going in there very good, is it? Lined up yet, and that wasn't lined up. And these take the Phillips head self-tapping, so those are going to be those little screws right here. These two, right? There's 3 of them, so you're going to use 2 of them. Okay, I got a Phillips screwdriver. Make sure you guys get the right size. Make sure this fits in here snug, because these little screws, they tend to strip pretty easy. And then you're essentially, excuse the pun, screwed. Okay, Horizon Hobby. Too easy, loving it. Thank you guys. I've been building a balsa plane for like, I don't know, 8 months now. And I can put this thing together in probably 30 minutes, easy. And that, my friends, is bueno. Good. To put this screw in right here, this screw goes in right here, and this, see, if you had the rudder and you were starting to turn, it would do nothing. So you gotta push it back up and put the screw in, which I'll do right now. It's just basically it's that wood screw right there that's tapered. So don't forget to put that in. Next up is the wings, and the wings obviously are in 2 pieces, and you want to put this spar, I don't know if this is carbon fiber or what, it looks like fiberglass. It's kind of odd, it looks like fractured on the end there when I'm cutting it. I mean, it's not completely through, but you can see stress cracks. I don't know if you can see that or not, but go back a little bit, that's kind of odd. It's kind of a bummer. So anyways, you need to put this spar in there to make the wings stiffer, and then you're gonna pull these out, and this is the lights, and I'm sure the other one's the aileron. Let's see here, I'm trying to use like kind of a dull flat tip. Get that out. they're all labeled. You've got flap, aileron, and lights. On this here, you're gonna have the same thing, flap. Just kind of dig these puppies out. What's cool about the Tundra, I owned a Tundra not long ago, and I bought it from a friend who crashed it, and I kind of fixed it up a little bit, and I just sold it for this. But on theirs, when you connect the wing, it's got a little like plug already there, so it's awesome. Just kind of just plugs right in. So that was a little challenging digging those out. With the other side. And it said to put on the prop first before this, but I don't know why they'd want to do that. The prop's just gonna get in the way, right? So I'm gonna put the prop on last. Does that make sense to me? Pull this out. Just keep sure you don't go inside that and damage anything, you know? You don't want to pinch a wire either. So I'm gonna slide this spar in like that. And you can see these are the anchor points that you're just gonna screw from underneath once you put the wing on. And when you put a wing on, when servos, and if you're new to this hobby or not, you're just gonna match, you're just simply gonna push these together, you know, flap on flap, and you're gonna just match color to color and make sure you get it right, because if you don't, you're gonna get it, the reversing of it, you know, and it's not gonna work right. So this is the top, the ring vortices things right here. That's the top. Look at the scale, look at the rivets. This is just a phenomenal plane. The detail on it is awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna slide this on a little bit. I'm gonna get it close. And then aileron. It's nice and tight. Well, that's kind of funky. The lights don't. The lights on here is a. Look at this. What is this all about? The lights are. It's fatter. You can't see it because I don't have it here. It's smaller here and bigger here, so it's not the same plug. I get it, because you just need a positive and a negative. So I guess you just hook it to two of those wires in there. But I guess I better read the directions on that one real quick. I'll get back to you. I called Horizon Hobby, and they said the light problem here with these plugs right here, they said to do was just take the dark wire and the dark wire and match them up and plug them together. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's kind of cheesy, to be honest. Plugged in there tight though. Okay, got all the wires hooked up, and the aileron one on this side was a little loose, so I went ahead and put some electrical tape to hold it on, just for insurance. You want to lose that flight control when you're in the air. Don't care about the flaps or the lights that much, but I did them anyways. And what we'll do is just push these together. Fasten these two screws in right here. It proved to be a little more difficult than they really should be. You really have to push the wings together. I actually put one on my knee and then pull down on the other one just to get these in real tight. And here we are at the elevators, and you got to do the same thing. Put the servo and neutral down, and put the actual elevators in neutral. And these are kind of, you know, there's not really hinges in here. This is just, they basically milled away this, so the foam, these are foam hinges, it looks like. So it is what it is. So I'll put this in the bottom one here. And just bend it over. So it looks like if I hook that up, and I don't know if that's neutral or not. It's pretty neutral. Looks like that might be it. I think that's it right there, so I'm gonna push that tight. A little safety rubber band over that to hold that together. And there you go. I think the next step will be putting the prop on. Time to put the prop on. You can look here, you've got the back plate, you've got the propeller, you got the adapter, you've got the spinner, and then the tapered screw that goes on there. And if you've never put a prop on before, put the back plate on here real quick. Let's see here. Notice that the leading edge is thicker, the trailing edge is thinner, and you want the thicker edge to go out front. So the writing is like that. It's gonna fit on the spinner like so. So see how there's the thicker edge, and then the thinner edge right there. And it's just like the airfoil of a wing, except for you're going in a horizontal axis, right? So let's stick it in there like that. And this is threaded. You just thread this on here like this. And they have like a, this through here like that. Tight. I think I'll try something new. This one's a little more substantial. That's pretty good torque there. I don't think that's gonna come off. Right there. And the spinner, simply puts on there like that. Same Allen head screw that you were putting everything else on that you're playing with. It's all put together. It's awesome plane. Hey, I did have some leftover hardware, just so you know, you'll have a little bit left over. And this is all for these, are all for the floats. So you should have like, I think 8 of those, 2 of those, the line plug obviously. And these right here, and I don't know what these zip ties are for, so I just went through the directions to make sure I didn't miss anything. And this is the Y for the steering for the float as well. So that's it. Make another video on binding it, and then the maiden voyage. My flight control checks, and when I turned the plane on, straight up and down is not where the servo is on this plane right now, so I had it straight up and down, and the rudder was kicked way to the right. So what I did was I moved it, you know, I undid this right here and screwed it in and balanced the rudder so it was perfectly kind of in line. And the, you know, I'm basically in zero as far as my trim on my rudder. And you can move it going this, you know, back to the right if you want it. Put it back to zero. So when you're in the flight, you can move it around a little bit. The other thing I noticed is my flaps were buzzing, and at 100%, negative 100%, which is what it wants, they were making a buzzing noise, and I don't like that, so there's too much noise. So what I did is I simply went in here, it's a flap system, and you see this is minus 95. It was at 100. Here, I'll just for kicks, I'll put it back up and you can hear it start buzzing again. See, it's buzzing. I think it's this one here. Anyways, I think the issue is that this one is down a little bit. So I'm gonna unhook that one up and make it go up all the way. But for now, to get the buzzing out, I don't think it's gonna matter to put to 96 or 95%. There, in the back. There we go.
This is a public service announcement with guitar.